pray together. Gracious and kind God, we thank you for another blessed, wonderful opportunity to come and share together, to worship you in spirit and in truth. We thank you for another week. You have been so good to us. You have looked beyond our faults and saw our needs, and then out of your benevolence, you've been so kind to grant us those things that we need, and we praise your name today. For renewal, portion, health, and strength, we praise your name. For a sound mind, we praise your name. Now, God, we ask that you would take these feeble lips of clay, speak in this place. I have nothing good to say that would do any soul any good, but you, God, hold the words that lead us to eternal life. Speak. God bless you all. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning, and we welcome you to ATC, the Downtown Church, Allen Temple AME Church, 109 Green Avenue. It's so kind of you to share with us this morning. And there is a word from the Lord. It's in the gospel recorded by John, chapter number 11. John chapter 11. And I'll begin to read it to your hearing at the first verse. A certain man, Lazarus, Zeal, he was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This was the Mary who anointed the Lord with fragrant oil and wiped his feet with her hair. Her brother Lazarus was ill. So the sister sent word to Jesus, saying, Lord, one whom you love is ill. When he heard this, Jesus said, this illness isn't fatal. It's for the glory of God, so that God's Son can be glorified through it. Jesus loved Martha, her sister, and Lazarus. When he heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed where he was. After 2 days, he said to his disciples, let's return to Judah again. In light of at least 4 pandemics that are going on simultaneously, yes, I want to introduce you to a theological construct called theodicy. Theodicy is the vindication of divine goodness and providence in view of the existence of evil. Theodicy. Example, how could an omnipotent God even allow evil to exist? How could a good God allow bad things to happen to good people? Yes. How could he allow sickness and financial stresses, school shootings and mass killings, world hunger, health disparities, systematic racism? How could he allow for these things to continue? Now, you don't like to talk about this because asking these types of questions don't match up to the faith that we say we have in God. Now, I'm not talking to the super saints who were born speaking in tongues. I'm talking to the people who behind closed doors are saying, God, if you are who you say you are, how could you have allowed this to happen? If you can speak a word and bring everything into existence, why did you stop what's happening to me? Now, I know that you all were raised to never question God. You were told his ways are higher than our ways. And God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform, and that our God never makes a mistake. But if the truth be told, church cliches don't answer these types of questions. God, you said you love me, but if you really love me, why did you stop this from happening? Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't nobody saying that. But I've been in that place. That place where God didn't do what I thought he could have and what I thought he should have done. And that's what I want to talk about for a few minutes this morning. When God doesn't do what you thought he could have and should have done. Now, when this happens, you can do like some people and try and sweep it up under the rug. Well, I wish I could tell you that I never questioned God. But if I told you that, I wouldn't be telling the truth. Yeah. There have been times when I've had to have a come to meet with Jesus. Because I've had things to happen to me that has shook my faith. Yeah. I didn't stop believing in God, but my faith was shaken. I didn't think that God no longer existed or was not real, but my faith was shaken. Now I know you think the preacher's faith is always supposed to be as solid as a rock, but I stand here this morning, a preacher of the gospel, a believer in Jesus Christ, to tell you that there have been times when my faith was shaken. And if you're honest about it and tell the truth and nothing but the truth, there have been times when your faith was shaken. Times when God didn't do what you thought he could have done and what he should have done. When that happens, church, what you need to do is go and take a second look at the Gospel of John, chapter number 11. Can we look at the text for a little bit this morning and see what happened? Yes. Jesus is in Barnabas. It's in Bethabara, a short distance from Bethany, when he receives word that Lazarus is sick. Now, Mary and Martha are not really all that worried at this time, because they know that in short order their friend Jesus will arrive, and when he gets there, everything will be all right. The miracle-working wonder from Galilee is on his way, and everything's going to be all right. The one who opened blinded eyes and calmed stammering tongues is on his way, and when he gets here, our brother's going to be all right. I can see Mary and Martha standing outside the city gates, knowing that Jesus is on the way. Hours pass. No Jesus. Sun goes down. No Jesus. They wake up the next morning, go back out to the city gates. Still, no Jesus. Morning gives way to noonday. And still no Jesus. The sun sets on another day, and still no Jesus. Now their hope is replaced with anger. Jesus, where you at? I sent word, and the one that I sent word back, he's already come back. So I know you got the word. Now Mary and Martha didn't have the privilege of knowing what we know. But the Bible tells us that when Jesus received word, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. That he deliberately decided to hang out in the place that he was for 2 more days. There was not a multitude of blind and sick lying around waiting to be healed. He just stayed for 2 more days. There was not a woman with the issue of blood or a little girl who needed to be raised from the dead. The Bible suggests that Jesus deliberately hangs out where he was. So now how does Mary and Martha, how do we reconcile this? Jesus, you said you love Lazarus. Yes. You said Lazarus was your friend and brother. But you treated strangers better than you're treating us right now. You see, there's an expectation by most people, by a lot of people, that the closer you are to Jesus, when you call on him, he's going to answer you. And on top of that, he's only a few miles away. The truth of the matter is, Jesus don't even show up. He doesn't even have to show up.
That's right.
He could have did for Lazarus what he did for the centurion's son. He could have just spoke a word from where he was. Anybody ever been where Mary and Martha was in this text?
Yes.
You weren't asking God to do anything that was out of the ordinary for him.
Yeah.
You just wanted him to handle this one little issue. You just wanted him to open this one little door. Lord, I ain't asking for much. I just need you to do this one thing. In our text. Now here comes Jesus, dragging down the road 4 days after Lazarus has died.
Yes, sir.
And when he finally gets there, Martha runs out to meet him, but Mary stays in the house. And that's what happens when God doesn't do what you thought he could have and what you thought he should have. The first thing to go and to suffer is your prayer life. Why should I talk to him? I've been doing all this praying and pleading all this time. He didn't answer me then. Why do I need to talk to him now? Number one, when God doesn't do what you thought he could and should, your prayer life suffers. But number two, when God doesn't do what you thought he could and should do, you stop coming into his presence.